Hi, it's Lauren. Welcome back to my craft room. I have a video today featuring some products from Pretty Pink Posh to create some Valentine's Day for my kiddo to use for her classroom. And I'm going to be using the Sweet Note dies, layered Valentine heart stencils, and the Heart Critters stamp set as well as its coordinating dies. So I'm going to start with stenciling because I will be using some stencil paste that will need some time to dry. So I started with the solid hearts first to add in some pink colors to my background. I'm using the colors Spun Sugar, Saltwater Taffy, and Warm Lipstick, and I'm going to start with the lightest in the middle and work my way out with darker colors using some dome foam blenders. So I'm going to start, like I said, with Spun Sugar in the middle, and I'm just going to add a little bit to the center of the stencil. And then I moved on to Saltwater Taffy, extending that color out a little further. And finally, with Worn Lipstick, going around the edge to finish coloring in all of those hearts. I'm going to go back and forth between my colors until I'm happy with the blend. The nice thing about having a stencil is that the blend does not have to be perfect because the stencil will break up the colors and you will still have a beautiful background even if you're not totally confident with ink blending. So let's take off the stencil for the reveal. I absolutely love stencil reveals, and I have these beautiful pink hearts on my background. Now I should have done the next stenciling layer, so if you're recreating this, please don't die cut already. But I did use the square die from the Sweet Note set to create 4 heart backgrounds. I'm going to grab the striped hearts layer from the stenciled hearts, Valentine heart stencil, and I'm going to add one more color of Distress Oxide. So now I'm lining up my little pieces behind my stencil. I'm just going to show one, and I'm using a darker color Distress Oxide. This is picked raspberry in a dome foam blender as well, and I'm going to line up my stencil. I'm doing my very best to get it perfect, and I'm going to add some ink through those little lines through the stencil onto my background. Now again, like I said earlier, I really should have done this before die cutting, but it's okay. It doesn't take too much effort to add in those striped lines to all 4 pieces. Once I have those done, I'm going to grab the next layer from the stencil that I'm using, which have these kind of polka dot fun different patterns for the other hearts. And I'm going to, again, line up where it goes on the back of the stencil. I'm using a little mint tape to help me keep it in place. And then I'm going to be using some stencil butter. And this is called Pearl White Stardust butter from the Crafter's Workshop. And I'm just using a little palette knife to add in that stencil paste or stencil butter through the stencil and those little polka dots onto the remaining hearts. I'm only going to do one on camera, but I will do all 4 backgrounds so I can make more of these cute little Valentines, and they will all dry at the same time. So I'll go ahead and set that aside and clean up my workstation. And I've stamped out and die cut my little critters. And I'm going to choose this cute little cheetah. And I'm going to be using my Ohuhu markers to color him in with his little heart. And I have the marker caps on screen, but I will also have the color guide posted on Pretty Pink Posh's social media that has all of the Ohuhu marker colors I used to color in this sweet little cheetah, as well as the little heart treat box in its hands. So I'm going with YRs to color in my orangey yellow cheetah. I'm using some grays to color in its nose, and I'm using pinks to color in its ears, as well as adding in some cute little cheeks. I'm also going to use some more rose pink colors to color in the heart. So I'm starting with a darker color and then blending that out with a lighter color to make this cute little treat box. And then using similar shades of that rose red color, I'm going to color in the ribbon. I'm also grabbing a white gel pen. I love to add little highlights to my critter, so I wanted to show how I added highlights for this adorable little cheetah in case you'd like to replicate coloring of this adorable little critter. Once I have all my highlights done, I'm just going to pop it out of this paper since I already die cut and was just using some mint tape to keep it in place. Mint tape is just a low tack tape. And now I'm going to do the remaining parts of my little kid Valentines from the sweet die. I used the large envelope to cut out in pink paper, and that will be the envelope of my Valentine. And then I cut another white piece of cardstock to stamp a sentiment and cute little hearts that will be placed inside of the Valentine. So I'm going to get it all lined up on the Misty, and I'm going to use some pink ink to stamp that little sentiment, Be My Valentine, and those adorable little hearts. And I'm leaving a little space so my daughter can sign her name in the Valentine. Now my heart background is all dry. Let's start assembling this little Valentine together. I'm using a bone folder just to help me with creasing along the scored lines on the sweet note. And I'm going to glue my heart background and my cheetah to the outside of the Valentine. And then I'm going to glue my Be My Valentine sentiment with the space to write a name on the inside. So I'm just going to use some wet glue to glue my heart background to the outside of my Valentine. I'm just trying to figure out which side I want the flap to be, and then I will glue that on. Again, I will open it up and glue in the Be My Valentine sentiment, making sure to glue it in the same way as my heart, so that way you could just flip it over and see inside. And not that it really probably matters too much, but that way it feels like they are the same on the outside and inside in terms of direction. I added some foam adhesive behind my cute little critter, and I'm going to peel off the release paper and do my best to get it nice and centered onto that heart background. I absolutely love the stenciled in pink, especially with that Stardust butter really popping out and making a little bit of shine on this little Valentine. So here's a close-up look at my Valentine. I'll open it up so you can see the area where my daughter can sign her name. And of course, she had to make a Valentine too, and she wanted to color in the sweet panda from the Heart Critters set as well. So here is her adorable Valentine with her little panda with a little flower. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how you can use Pretty Pink Posh's Sweet Note dies to create Valentines with your kiddo, and that you find the stenciling and coloring inspirational today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. As always, you can find everything I use down below in the description box. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye!